Hi YouTube! In this video I'm going to show you how I would go about drawing this young lady's hair. Okay, I'm going to get some drawing paper here, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to want to sketch this. Now normally I would grid this, or you can light box it or do all kinds of different things, but I'm just going to go ahead and freehand this for this demonstration. So first get myself a pencil here, and I'm going to go about getting this initial sketch in as best I can. Just get an idea of where that hair is. And pretty much want to get it where I see the locks and so forth coming out here. Okay, so that's pretty much that one there. Let's see, there's interlocks here. And that swings over there. Okay, and then it kind of goes off the side of the, off the side of the thing, so I'm done there. Okay, now I could go ahead and as well draw the other side here, but I think for the sake of the lesson I just want to show the technique that I would use personally. There's many ways to do this, but I don't have to draw the whole head of hair in order to show that, because the technique would be the same. Okay, now like I said, you could use a pencil, and I would probably use like an HB or maybe a B pencil to put the base in, but I happen to have charcoal powder, and I'm going to put the base in with charcoal powder. Well, I got a little hair inside there. That's weird. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and take this Q-tip here. Now, if you have your paper on an easel at an angle, you have to be very careful when using powders, because it will, and I already did it right there, it will run down your drawing, and you could ruin your drawing that way. But I got this flat on the table, so I'm going to go ahead and just brush this on. I'm not too concerned about the coverage being even, because variation in coverage actually adds to the realism. I do like to follow the direction of the hair itself. I think it, at some level, to the human mind, conveys the message of flow, though that is just my own opinion and not based on any expert studies or anything. So you can take that with a grain of salt if you like. But I tend to feel that if I put my base in the direction of the hair flow, it just seems to me to be more realistic when I'm done. Maybe not when I'm initially doing it, but when I'm finished. Just the subtlety of it. And we call this lane a base. Okay, this is just considered lane a base. You will be drawing on top of this soon enough. Okay, a little bit there. And you have all this here. Now I'm purposely making this base darker right here because I can see that it's going to be the darkest area of the hair itself. So this is going to definitely make my job easier when the time comes to draw this dark area in. So I'm going to just go ahead and brute force that puppy in there. That's enough for the graphite powder, just for the base. I don't need it for anything else. Now the next thing I need to do is, so what I have here is my 6B, my 4B, and I even have a 12B woodless graphite that I'm going to use. Big old tough stuff eraser here that I've cut a angle on it right there. Another Q-tip for giggles. I do a lot of giggling. My little Tombow Mono Zero here for little thinner lines if I need it. A blender stump. And I have this little wedge that I cut off a white latex eraser and put it between the split of a chopstick here and taped it up. So I tend to use this quite a bit for this process. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to start getting into the darker areas of the hair. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my 6B pencil, for example here, and I'm going to start drawing from the root of the hair here. I'm going to just start drawing the hairs. Just stroking it like so, and when I'm done, it's not going to be a bunch of lines because I tend to blend a lot. So I just want to get the shapes here, and when I mean the shapes, I'm talking about that shape right there. For example, I want to get that in there, like this triangle looking thing, this area here. All these are shapes, and I'm going to get real dark in there, leaving the rest of the area much lighter. And then my eraser will do the rest. So I could tell that the 6B isn't going to be as dark as I need it, so I'm glad I have the 12B, and I'm going to definitely use that. But first I'm just going to do the 6B here, just to get her started. We'll be doing a lot of adding and erasing and a lot of adding and erasing. And normally I wouldn't have my hand resting on my drawing, but I'm not going to do anything with this side, so I don't care. I'm just demonstrating one side here, even though I sketched the whole thing out. So want to get these lines going in the direction that I want to go. The hair. Now I can see that I have hair going in this direction, so I want to get that in there as well. And let's see, right here, and I made it kind of dark there to let me know. I want to make sure that I have that area there. I'm going to mark that off right here because it's going to get really dark right there. I have a relatively sharp point on here, which makes it easy to do this. And just so you know, I'm not actually drawing hair. I'm just applying graphite in the direction of hair using strokes. But what's going to constitute hair is actually the removal of graphite when I start doing the highlights and so forth, as you will soon see. It's going to be, let's see, there's another dark area right here, and I see I darkened it here just to let me know that. That kind of comes down here somehow and does its thing. Okay. Okay, now we're going to start drawing in some highlights, and then I'm going to start getting in some shadows as I go, and then I may have to add more and more and pull some out and just keep going back and forth. Now, for the real big lines, I can use this tough stuff here, and for the real small ones, I could use this one here. Now, for example, I can see that I have highlights that are right here that I need to get in. But it won't matter. I'm going to end up covering them up again with darker pencil. So I just want to kind of get it started here. I see this has all got highlights in here, so I want to get this has all got light hair in here. Don't worry about it if you're highlighting outside the lines or whatever it is you have as a reference, because you can always come in and darken those areas later. Okay, I'm just roughly looking for all the areas where there's highlights, getting those things in there, getting them in there. And then I'll worry about refining everything later. got some form developing here. Now I want to take advantage of the really dark areas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my 12B. You can also use charcoal. You can use 9xxB, darker pencils than this. Okay, so I have this shadow area here that's right underneath her hairline. So I want to make sure I get that. Okay, use my blending stump. Get that all nice and refined. Okay, then I can see here that we have dark area in here. This is where the face is. The face actually comes out from here. Get that in there like so. Then it rounds about to here. Okay. And the chin is about right there somewhere. There's the other side of her hair right there. So we got this, and I'm using a 4B pencil here. It's pretty dark. But there we go. Okay. So getting back on the darkness part, right in here, dark shadow, gonna get that in there. Just so I have proper contrast to the hair itself. Give that right there, just to get that dark in there. Okay, now dark has sharp edges, got to get that sharp edge in there. Okay. Now we got right here, you got your shadows here. Let's get the shadows in here. Okay. This area right up here on the top of the very top of the head in this photograph, I could see is a solid, just solid black. Definitely want to get that in there solid, because that's exactly what it looks like in the photograph, and then it comes out solid over here like so, and then right there. So it doesn't start to break up until it comes out into the light. And I can easily come in here now and bring some of that out with my eraser. And at the end, I lift my eraser up so that it would flare up, have a thinner line. Try to mimic that reference photo as best I can here. Blending is your friend. Remember that. Just blend, blend, blend. My eraser, bring out the highlights that I muted. So I'm going into the dark area. I want to keep my highlights a little on the light side. Get your lines thin enough for your highlights in your eraser. You need to sharpen your, give your eraser more of an edge again. There we go. I want to get those curves in there and then have it fade out into the darkness. And let's see, in this one here. Okay. And it's darker in this area here. Got my, where's my 6B pencil? There it is. Here's a 6B because I want just kind of a medium here. Let's see. It's going to do the trick for me there. It's my 12B. Let's see right here. See, this area here needs a little bit of dark attention. So I'm looking at the shape of that dark area. I'm just going to mimic that shape and darken it in. Okay. And I see I have another area here that I need to darken. This gives it depth, okay, because what you darken goes in the background. What you lighten comes more out into the foreground. Okay, again, I'm going to go blend the roller. You can see it's a matter of just constantly working and reworking until you get it to where you like it. Let me get my 9XXB, see if I can get me a little bit more juice out of that contrast there, just for giggles. Here's my 9XXB. I just want to get a little more depth than I can get with my 9B. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, look at that. See, that really does give me a little more depth in here. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to get some highlights. When hair comes out from underneath locks, it's usually going to be darker underneath there. So you certainly want to get that. And if you erase let's say a stray hair or something, you know, you're trying to put in a stray hair and your eraser is making too thick of a mark, just use your pencil to thin it out. And then that way you can simulate that stray hair without it looking like a tusk. For example, let me show you here. I'm gonna really thicken this puppy up right here. Okay, so let's say I'm gonna put in these stray hairs right here, and let's see, that comes from up here. Okay, and it comes down like so. All right, so you got these hairs that break off from the main group. So I'm going to draw that in nice and thick like, right? This is not what I would suggest you do. This is demonstration purposes only. You have all this traffic here of this hair. Okay, now you can see these really exaggerated lines, right? Okay, so just take your pencil, like I'll take this 4B here, for example, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly draw on both sides of that hair, or that white line that I did, to thin it out all the way to the end. Okay, just like that. And if one hair goes above the other, you can make sure that you present that by drawing on top of the other with your shading pencil here, like I'm doing with this 4B. Be careful when you're doing this that you're not showing two lines underneath it, because you do have different tones underneath this hair, and you're going to have to account for why you have this shading underneath there that is causing a strange shadow look. So blend it out, do whatever, but be very subtle with your thinning work here. Or you can make it look like there's a hair next to it or something, a darker hair. Just play with it. Okay, this is underneath the hair. I'm going to darken that area there, and then I'll get that all darkened in because it's in the background. Everything in the background could be darker. Just remember that. Okay, so you can see the stray hairs are a lot thinner now. I made them grossly fat on purpose to demonstrate, which is not something I would normally do. Then I'm just going to kind of go over it to highlight them a little bit better here. I went over it too much with my pencil. So, you know, something like that. Pretty cool, eh? Coming out into the light, I'm going to start putting some highlights in here. Here's the dark. Make sure it stays dark in here. Okay, this whole area here needs to be dark or darker. And then everything comes out into the light. It can be lighter. Of course, I don't want to get too light because I know it's a mid-tone in that area right there. And now that I got my 9xXB, I can get a little aggressive here with this area. Notice I like to blend everything. This area here in her hair is also dark. You want to get underneath there. Don't draw over your little lines there. I put those in a little too early, but that's okay. A lot of flyaway hair here in this drawing, or in this photo here, and I really don't have a whole lot of time to play with all of those. I'm going to put some in here so you can just see what I'm doing. Putting some lots of flyaway I should say, flyaway hair. Just get that in there. That really brings out the realism when you can get them in there. So I'm going to get some in there just so you can see it. And if any of them comes in too bright, you just do what I did earlier and pencil it out. But nothing works better than a few flyaways to give it that realistic look. Some hair locks in the background. Make sure it's not as light as the foreground. I definitely want to give the impression it's back there as it is in the photo. Okay, some of this needs to be darker than I have made it, so I'm going to brush this down to make it fade into the dark a little better in the background. Okie doke. Well, there's the hair. As best as I can do, and just rushing, but just wanted to give you a general idea of how you do hair. And you know, just as a summary, just remember you put down your base layer, you know, draw in some darker shades, pull it out with your eraser, the highlights, blend, put in some more darker areas, mid-tone areas, highlights, blend, over and over, blend. Look for the various shapes you're trying to go for. You just want the general areas just to kind of, you know, set it, to make it look similar. Like for example, you see this area right here, this dark area right here? If I want, I can come in here and I can take my 9xXB, for example, and just come in here, and because that's a big area that you can see, and you just do that. Okay, and you simulate what you see. This dark area here, I've already got pretty much most of it there. There's some more here. Get between the so-called hairs. This whole area here is dark, so you can do all that. Right here, if I want, okay, I can come in here and put that in like that. Make it follow the hair a little bit there. Some more here, some more here. See, I just can keep on going and keep on going and giving it more depth with a dark pencil. And the light areas is all done with an eraser. And that's the white of the paper is going to come through. And you know, that's what you're after. Okay, so anyway, I hope you like this quick demonstration. Something like this hair here I would spend way more time on if it was a portrait that I wanted to do as a keeper, but as a quick demonstration, I only did so much on it, even though there's more that I can do to it. If But anyway, I'm good as finished right now because I need to move on. So anyway, I hope that you like this, and please give me a thumbs up, especially if you want to see more of this kind of stuff. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.